Good morning, and welcome to the First Cup. My name is Sonia McCullough Lockridge, and I am your host. And today we are completing our reading of Faith Driven Entrepreneur. And that's what we do here on the First Cup. We read and we talk about works that are nonfiction, that are Christian in nature, and we also write works that are the same. So this morning we're having our first cup of coffee. And it's likely going to be a 2-cup kind of a day. Most days we only have 1 cup. I used to drink coffee all day, but I no longer do that. But today feels like it's going to be a 2-cup kind of a day. Now, let's get into it. So we can begin to think about and look forward to our next reading, which we will start tomorrow. So, it's Friday, February 18th, 2022. And I have titled this particular coffee chat, First Cup Coffee Chat, You Are Your Own Niche, Disciples Making Disciples. Because that is basically what the writers, the authors, focus on in this particular chapter. So, we are digging into chapters 11 and 12. We were supposed to dig into chapter 11 yesterday, but I had an emergency. My sister is sick in the hospital and having a procedure this morning. And I just want you to know that I've already been praying. Many times in the biblical text, when the Bible directs the authors to write about his characters, they've already been praying. Daniel was already praying, and I have already been praying. So I continue in prayer in regards to my sister and this procedure that she's having today at some point. We don't know what time she's having it, and my sister is married also, so she has a husband that's in play and in place. So yeah, I've already been praying. And I think it was yesterday that the last time we did a video that I spoke about the author saying prayer is the linchpin of any and all ministry. Prayer is the linchpin of any and all ministry. So, chapter 11 and 12. Starting with Matthew 4:19. Matthew 4:19. Well, we're going to start with Matthew 6:19 through 24. Matthew 6:19 through 24. Here we go. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is the lamp of the body. So, if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? And then finally, no one can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. You cannot serve God and money. So, that was Matthew 6, 19 through 24. So next we're going to move to Matthew 4, 19. Matthew 4, 19. I hope you guys are having a good day. Matthew 4:19 reads as follows. And he said to them, he being Jesus, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So if we were to read at the beginning of this segment of scripture, we would start in verse 18, which reads as follows. While walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Immediately, they left their nets and followed him. That's Jesus making the fishermen fishers of men. So next we have Matthew 16:18. Matthew 16:18. These are the verses the writers share in the final chapters of the book 11 and 12. Matthew 16:18. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. That is what Jesus is saying to Peter in regards to the church. So finally, we have two more verses in which the writers share in the final chapters of 11 and 12 in the book Faith Driven Entrepreneur. So let's look at Acts 28:14. Acts 28:14. Acts 28:14. And of course I am in the book of Acts. Acts 28:14 reads as follows. And we're going to start in 13. Now when the south wind blew greatly, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, they weighed anchor and sailed along Crete, close to the shore. But soon a tempestuous wind called the northeaster struck down from the land. Is this the right verse? Matthew 16, no, Acts 28:14. No, that was not the right verse. I was in 27. Acts 28:14. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do that, and oftentimes that's a verse I need to go back and read. Oftentimes that's a verse the Lord is trying to draw my attention to in a private and personal fashion. So, there we found brothers and were invited to stay with them for 7 days. And so we came to Rome. So in these chapters, chapters 11 and 12, the writers are talking about the spread of the gospel from the book of Acts. So that's why they focused on this particular verse, because the gospel is spread by people. And these people were not necessarily church people at the time. They probably, in all likelihood, became church people. But that is what they're saying in this particular chapter, chapters 11 and 12. So finally, let's read Proverbs 22:29. Proverbs 22:29. And Proverbs 22:29 reads as follows: Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. So this is talking about the expertise of the entrepreneur. That's how they're relating this particular scripture. Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. So he's talking about the entrepreneur that has an expertise. So, in closing, in regards to the book, Faith Driven Entrepreneur, this is what I wrote. These are my final thoughts in regards to this particular work. The edgy, experienced expertise of entrepreneurs is essential everywhere and should be explored as a vital mission field. That's what I wrote in regards to the entirety of this book. The edgy experience and expertise of entrepreneurs is essential everywhere and should be explored and likely exploited as a vital mission field. Disciples making disciples in an entrepreneurial way. This is Sonia McCullough-Locker signing out for the first cup. The first cup. Right here on the first cup tomorrow, Saturday, February 19th, we will begin a new reading of a new work that has sold millions of copies. So I am delighted and overjoyed to come to you in this fashion. Thank you and have a blessed day in the Lord.